Here's a quick video on what build I'm playing in each dungeon. Ruby life pools. Due to my routes, I do pull a lot of whelps on the fort weeks, and the whelps do hurt quite a bit, so usually I will run Earth Warden, Maul for boss damage still, as always. My incarn timings are very specific, so I won't run Raise so that I have shorter incarns that will primarily matter in this first area. In the later areas, it doesn't matter too much, but overall, if you have a different route, Raise is absolutely fine, no issues whatsoever. And if you don't pull as many Whelplings, you can also drop Earth Warden and grab some points into Fury of Nature um, and Vicious Cycle. And this would probably be your build. And if you want to run Raise, you probably take it out of Rage of the Sleeper or Thorns, one or the other. Thorns is a lot of damage though, so would not recommend, but obviously Melojusa Chillworm hurts a lot. Next dungeon, Nokhud. I would definitely play Earth Warden. Earth Warden is a must because of the storm shields in this dungeon and in the undead area. All these little undead mobs hurt a lot, especially when they get buffed by the Death Speaker. So definitely need Earth Warden. There are a lot of bosses, so Maul is definitely fine with Tooth and Claw. This is a dungeon where you can definitely run Raise. I personally like Rage of the Sleeper though for the bleed on the last boss, and for whatever reason, if you don't have a purge on the Raging Tempest. It is in my opinion that dropping Thorns is too much damage to go Raise. I think this is just not viable. I think if you ever wanted to go Raise, it would be dropping the Thorns. So, Rage is the Sleeper, probably needed in this dungeon. There are a few too many things that hurt a lot. On Tyran weeks, it's definitely the last boss. The bleed absolutely trucks. And the Storm Strike, the Magic Strike in the Phase 2. And then on Fort weeks, Storm Shields hurt a shit ton. The magic bolts in the undead area also hit a lot from the corruptors. The bleeds from what is it? The pierce dudes, the war spears. The pierce from these guys can stack up if you don't stop it, so the bleed there also hurts a lot. But that's more of a minor thing. Alright. Next dungeon. Azure Vault. Another dungeon where it is very scary. However, the mobs are very kiteable. So for this dungeon specifically, you do have an option of not running Earth Warden or running Earth Warden. It heavily depends on your route. For my route currently, I do pull Guardian Constructs. These things melee pretty hard, so Earth Warden definitely helps with those, in addition to the trees. These Arcane Tenders in the first area, they also melee quite hard, but I wouldn't say they melee hard enough to where you have to have Earth Warden. So you could drop Earth Warden, and you could go a bit more damage. And then the question is whether you can play Raise or not. This one is... I don't think this is the dungeon to play Raise on, because there's a lot of kiting to do. Specifically the Icy Cutters in the room on the second boss. You don't have enough defensives just tanking everything. It is quite difficult. And then on top of that, the other thing is you actually want Incarn to be able to tank most of this. So shorter Incarn is definitely better. Raise will take away from that. So this would probably be my build for damage, and you can go Earth Warden if you do pull the Arcane Constructs. These things melee hard. Algeth'ar. Definitely, same thing. Would play Earth Warden. The Lashers melee very hard. Same for the Aconites. Uh, my Incarn timings matter a lot, especially on these Lasher pulls. I do 2 Incarns, so the faster I can get Incarn here, the better. Halls of Valor. This dungeon, you can actually run Raise. You technically don't need Earth Warden because the melees don't actually hurt too much. It's more so the debuff that makes them hurt you a lot, that make the melees hurt you a lot. So if you're not paying attention to the debuff, then run Earth Warden. This would be like kind of the build. Otherwise, you could drop the Earth Warden and then you can play more Moonfire damage and just, kite, obviously. So probably something like this. Sorry, not Rage. This would probably be the play. Court of Stars and SPG don't matter too much. Court, low density dungeon, probably play Raise, no issues, don't need defensiveness, so this would probably be the same build. And then same thing for SPG. Although for SPG, the spiders do kind of melee a little hard. Same for the souls, subjugated souls, they do melee quite hard. So if you really want, you can play Earth Warden. I never find it necessary as long as you have your SIs kind of planned out for each pack. But generally speaking, for all dungeons, if you want Earth Warden, you take it out of 2 points of Fury of Nature and Vicious Cycle. And then as far as Raise goes, usually speaking, you will take it out of Rage of the Sleeper. And that will be the play.